I never meant to lie.
Yeah, but you did. About everything.
What if I told you that a simple hedge knight just turned a personal trial into the biggest Targaryen family showdown since the Dance of the Dragons? Episode 4 of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms just delivered the most epic team assembly you've ever seen, and the final twist will blow your mind. Stick around, because what happens at the end will change everything you thought you knew about honor in Westeros. Welcome back, everyone. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms Episode 4 has just dropped, and holy seven hells, this one was absolutely packed. We're talking epic moments, shocking betrayals, legendary characters stepping up, and a finale that gave us chills with the Game of Thrones theme playing in full glory. This episode is titled Seven, and it's a direct reference to the trial of Seven that's about to go down. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, because we're breaking down every single episode of this series with all the hidden details, book references, and those incredible WTF moments you might have missed. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is a trial of seven? This isn't your standard trial by combat where it's just one-on-one. This is 7 champions versus 7 champions, and it's absolutely brutal. The Trial of Seven is an ancient tradition that came to Westeros during the Andal invasion, along with the entire concept of knighthood itself. Here's the fascinating part. Knights didn't even exist in Westeros before the Andals arrived, so all those legendary tales from the Age of Heroes about brave knights, they're probably embellished stories, just like Baelor told Dunk earlier in the series. The Andals believed that with 7 champions fighting on each side, the gods would be more likely to ensure justice prevails. But let's be real here. They probably just thought 7 versus 7 made for way better entertainment than a simple duel. Now, the rules are critical. In a trial of 7, you must fight personally. You can't just choose a champion to fight for you like in regular trials by combat. The accused, in this case, Dunk, is declared innocent if the accuser, Aerion, and his team are either defeated or yield. And when they say defeated, they mean killed. If Dunk can't find 6 men to stand with him, he's automatically declared guilty. That's why Aerion chose this format. He was betting that a simple hedge knight with no name and no lands wouldn't be able to recruit 6 warriors to risk their lives for him. Let me put this in perspective. The last trial of 7 in Westeros happened during the reign of Maegor the Cruel, hundreds of years ago. Maegor was challenged by the Faith Militant, and even though he won, he was the last man standing and fell into a coma for weeks. That's how devastating these battles are. Dunk's only other option? Having his hand and foot cut off, the body parts he used to strike Prince Aerion. That would end his dream of becoming a knight forever. So this trial isn't just about proving his innocence, it's about survival and everything he's ever worked for. The episode opens with Dunk locked in the cells, and the cinematography here is brilliant. The way he looks up through the bars at the ceiling is meant to mirror his childhood in Flea Bottom, the poorest district in King's Landing. We're going to see more of these flashbacks in next week's episode, showing us how tough Dunk's early life really was. Then, Egg shows up, and for the first time, he's wearing proper Targaryen colors, red and black. His father, Maekar, is back at the tournament, and he's making Egg dress like the prince he actually is, no more pretending to be a common squire. Baelor Breakspear, the hand of the king and heir to the Iron Throne, is one of the most powerful men in Westeros, and even he can't simply pardon Dunk because the accusing party is also royal blood, Prince Aerion. This shows you just how strict the laws are, even for someone as powerful as Baelor. But here's what's brilliant about this scene. Baelor clearly despises Aerion. When Egg says he wishes Dunk had killed Aerion, Baelor's response is telling. He says, "The Septons tell us we must love our brothers," but you can hear the reluctance in his voice. This is foreshadowing the Baelor versus Maekar confrontation that's coming, because they're going to be on opposite sides of this trial. We also learn that Daron lied to his father Maekar, claiming Dunk was a robber who kidnapped Egg. This was to protect himself from another beating, but it just makes Maekar hate Dunk even more. Remember their awkward first meeting where Dunk basically said, "I hope your sons aren't dead in a ditch somewhere"? Yeah, Maekar still hasn't forgotten that insult. This is one of my favorite moments in the episode. Dunk challenges Baelor by reminding him that all knights take the same oath. In the eyes of the Seven, all knights are supposed to be equal, sworn to defend the innocent and uphold justice. This plants the seed in Baelor's mind that joining Dunk's team would be the right thing to do. Without this moment, without Dunk challenging Baelor's honor and reminding him what being a true knight means, I don't think Baelor would have ultimately chosen Dunk's side. After a time jump, they hold the formal proceedings. It's Baelor, Maekar, Arian, Leo Longthorn Tyrell, who doesn't like Dunk at all, and Lord Ashford presiding. Arian tries multiple times to weasel out of actually fighting. First, he tries to decline the trial by combat entirely, which makes his father Maekar absolutely furious. He calls him out in front of everyone for being a coward. Then, Arian's backup plan is calling for a trial of 7 because he's betting Dunk won't find 6 champions. Here's an important change from the books. In the original story, Maekar was way more hostile to Dunk. A lot of the cruel lines that Arian has in the show were actually Maekar's in the books. The show is making Maekar more reasonable to set up his future character development and his eventual relationship with Dunk. Raymond Fosaway is the first friend to step up. Then Stefan Fosaway declares for Dunk, giving this whole speech about honor and glory. He mentions he'll convince his friends to join, including Lionel Baratheon. But here's the twist. This is all an act. Stefan had already been bought off by Arian, who promised to make him a true lord. When Lionel Baratheon later says he's never even met Stefan before, it confirms that Stefan was lying the entire time. He was setting Dunk up to fail by wasting his time and giving him false hope. Even the names Stefan mentioned, like Otho Bracken, who later farts at Dunk during his speech, were all terrible people. Stefan's friends have zero honor, which tells you everything you need to know about Stefan himself. Egg's older brother Daron shows up, beaten by his father Maekar for getting drunk and embarrassing the family. He apologizes to Dunk for lying and declares he'll fight on Dunk's team. But then he hilariously admits he'll probably only last 1 charge, so please end the fight quickly. Daron also has dragon dreams like Helena from House of the Dragon. Not every Targaryen gets these prophetic visions. It's actually quite rare in the family. His dream about Dunk is crucial. He sees a dead dragon with wings so massive they cover the entire field, lying on top of Dunk, but Dunk is alive. This dream is going to come true during the Trial of 7. I won't spoil exactly how, but remember, Daron specifically said, "My dreams come true," so pay attention to this vision. We learn that Tanzel, the puppeteer Dunk has feelings for, has fled back to Dorne. She left before Arian could charge her with treason for the dragon puppet show. Steely Pate brings Dunk the finished shield she painted for him before leaving. The shield shows an elm tree, and Dunk says a prayer over it. "Oak and iron guard me well, or else I'm doomed to hell." This is taken straight from the books, and it's such a powerful moment. He also has to sell his beloved horse, Sweetfoot, which breaks his heart, but he needs every penny he can get. The next morning, Dunk arrives at the tourney grounds and finds Lionel Baratheon waiting with 3 other knights. Lionel Baratheon wants to fight because he loves the idea of bloodying up the Kingsguard in their pretty white gowns. House Baratheon has always had issues with Targaryen supremacy, and this is his chance to stick it to the royal family. Humphrey Harding wants revenge against Arian for killing his horse and injuring his leg in the tournament. Humphrey Beesbury, another knight seeking glory. Robin Risling, a religious fanatic who believes the Targaryens have dishonored the gods. But then comes the Stefan Fosaway betrayal. He's declared for Arian's team in exchange for a lordship, proving he never had any honor to begin with. This creates the famous split in House Fosaway between the Green Apple branch, Stefan's descendants, and the Red Apple branch, Raymond's line. Raymond Fossaway demands to be knighted so he can fight for Dunk and restore his family's honor after Stefan's betrayal. But Dunk refuses. This creates serious doubt about whether Dunk was ever actually knighted by Sir Arlon. If he wasn't truly knighted, then he has no right to knight others. I think the show is being deliberately ambiguous here. Maybe Dunk is just reluctant because he doesn't want Raymond to get hurt, or maybe he really wasn't knighted and he's been living a lie this whole time. Lionel Baratheon steps in and knights Raymond himself, speaking the same oath that Jaime Lannister used to knight Brienne in Game of Thrones. In the name of the warrior, I charge you to be brave. In the name of the father, I charge you to be just. In the name of the mother, I charge you to defend the young and innocent. In the name of the maid, I charge you to protect all women.
With only 6 champions, Dunk is still one short. So he does something incredible. He calls out the entire crowd of knights watching. He asks if there are any true knights left in Westeros, anyone who actually believes in the oaths they swore. This speech is powerful because it challenges everything Game of Thrones has taught us. Usually in this world, honor gets you killed, like Ned Stark. The people who survive are those willing to bend the rules and operate in moral gray areas. But Dunk represents George R.R. Martin's pushback against that cynicism. He's saying that good people can survive and do well, that honor and justice still matter, though there will absolutely be consequences for choosing the righteous path. Just as Dunk finishes his speech, asking for one true knight to show themselves, Baelor Breakspear rides onto the field, and the show plays the full Game of Thrones theme: no jokes, no interruptions, no farting, just pure, epic, orchestral glory. Baelor is wearing his son Valar's armor because he didn't bring his own to the tournament. It doesn't fit perfectly, but he squeezed himself in anyway. This is the hand of the king, the heir to the Iron Throne, the most powerful man in Westeros besides the king himself, choosing to fight for a hedge knight against his own family. Maekar rides up, absolutely furious, and shouts, "Have your senses taken leave?" He cannot believe his brother is doing this. So here's Aerion's team of 7. Prince Maekar, Duncan Egg's friend's father, wearing sick dragon armor, Sir Willem Wilde, Kingsguard, Sir Donal of Duskendale, Kingsguard, Sir Roland Crakehall, Kingsguard, Prince Daeron the Drunken, who we know isn't a good fighter, Sir Steffon Fossaway, the traitor, and Prince Aerion Brightflame, the instigator, and Sir Duncan the Tall, Prince Baelor Breakspear, one of the greatest jousters in Westeros history, Sir Lionel Baratheon, Sir Raymond Fossaway, newly knighted, Sir Humphrey Harding, Sir Humphrey Beesbury, Sir Robin Riceling. This trial of 7 has now become another Targaryen civil war in miniature. You have Baelor versus his brother Maekar. You have the Kingsguard, sworn to protect the royal family, fighting against the hand of the king and heir to the throne. You have House Fossaway split against itself. King Daeron II, who just survived the Blackfyre Rebellion and watched his family tear itself apart during the Dance of the Dragons, is going to be absolutely furious that his sons are now fighting each other to death in public. Final thoughts. This episode brilliantly sets up what's going to be one of the most epic battles in Game of Thrones history. The trial of 7 hasn't happened in hundreds of years, and now it's happening with some of the most powerful people in Westeros on both sides. Dunk challenged the entire system by standing up for what's right, and against all odds, he found 6 champions willing to die for his cause. That's the power of true honor and justice in this world. But remember Daeron's dragon dream? A dead dragon lying on top of Dunk, but Dunk survives. Someone is going to die in this trial, and it's going to be someone important. The consequences of choosing good over evil, of standing up for what's right, are going to be severe. Next week, we're getting the actual trial of 7, and I absolutely cannot wait. This is going to be spectacular. So, there you have it. everything you need to know about Episode 4 of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Make sure you're subscribed because next week's episode is going to be absolutely insane. Drop your theories in the comments about who you think survives the Trial of Seven and what you think Daeron's dragon dream really means. The Battle of the Seven is coming, and Westeros will never be the same. I'll see you in the next one.